President Trump will be meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. Now, the specific location in Alaska for them to meet has not yet been announced, but seemingly it was determined to be in Alaska as kind of a halfway middle ground between Washington, D.C. and Moscow. But what will the central points of discussion between those two be? We can imagine certainly the centerpiece of it will be regarding the war with Ukraine. But just how far is this going to go? Well, joining me now to discuss a potential preview is Congressman Pat Harrigan. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee, as well as the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. He's a former Green Beret, served with great valor in our armed services. He represents the 10th Congressional District of North Carolina. Congressman Harrigan, welcome back to Washington, D.C. Great to have you.
Jody, it's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's our privilege in every way. All right, so let's look a little preview at the meeting between Trump and Putin. What do you anticipate this conversation basically consisting of? What's going to be the focus?
Well, I think it's certainly going to be one to watch, and it's hard to tell whether this is another delay tactic from Vladimir Putin and the Russians, or if President Trump is genuinely about to notch his 8th peace deal in 8 months. Nobody knows, and time will play out here. I tend to believe that it is not in Russia's best interest to end this conflict. I think the purposes for which they are fighting are not really well understood by the West. And I think because of that, it's very likely that this is a delay or stall tactic. But I think that on the off chance that we might get something out of this, because certainly it is absolutely in the best interest of the United States of America for this conflict to end, we need to full-throated support President Trump in his endeavors to end this conflict. And so definitely will be something to watch as this week progresses.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a really good insight, too, of another potential stall tactic. In fact, President Trump literally made a similar, pointing, I guess, in that direction, saying he would probably know within the first couple of minutes where this whole meeting was going to go. But what do you think Putin's goal is going to be in this meeting? I mean, you mentioned stall, but he may not be able to accomplish a great deal of that, or maybe he can. What do you think Putin's going to try to get out of this?
I think Vladimir Putin's going to try to achieve the strategic objectives of Russia. I don't think we should anticipate that his goal would be anything other than that. And my concern stems from the fact that I think their strategic interest is actually keeping us engaged in this conflict longer. Every day that they fire $50,000 drones that elicits a $1 million American missile response is a day that we lose the economics of war, and Russia and Xi working together push the United States closer and closer to a fiscal cliff that nobody knows exactly where it is, but they know which direction it is in. And so I'm very concerned that Russia and China are working together to effectuate effectively the financial takedown of the United States, much the exact same thing that Ronald Reagan worked against the Soviet Union, 30 plus years ago. I think we need to be cognizant of the fact that that might be going on right now.
So if that is the case, what should the U.S. role be in a potential sustained peace between Russia and Ukraine, or should there not really be much of a sustained role from the U.S. and that be left more up to Europe to take responsibility?
I think President Trump's taken the right angle on this, which is he wants peace. I think that's certainly in the best interest of the United States. It's also in the best interest of the West. There's no question about that, because as we have become very dependent on highly capable but very exquisite, very expensive military end items, when we provide those end items to our allies, the 50 different nations that purchase military equipment from us, yes, they become very capable. But if that war goes on for a protracted period of time, they also start losing the economics of war right alongside of us. And so we've got to be cognizant that we may, based on the technology that we end up transferring, both to Ukraine, but also to our allies, that we end up hanging a financial millstone around their necks just as we're hanging a financial millstone around our own necks. I think that Russia is very knowledgeable of this fact. And if we can get a piece to play out here, that's absolutely in our best interest. If we can't, we have to figure out a more cost-effective way of achieving America's strategic interests vis-a-vis what's going on in Eastern Europe right now.
All right, I want to. Are you concerned that Zelensky is not here? And let's be quick on that, because I want to get your thoughts in just a couple of minutes we have left on what's happening in Israel. Are you concerned Zelensky is not going to be part of this?
I am, and I'm also not simultaneously. I am from the perspective that every time America or the West had to negotiate something on behalf of a third party in history, it has never worked out well. Simultaneously, I don't think that it's inappropriate for Zelensky to be asking for a seat at the table, given the fact it's his country. That being said, we are the largest benefactor and contributor to their ongoing war effort. And so I fully understand President Trump's position. I think it's very tough. I don't think that there's actually a real right answer here. I think that it becomes clearer what that right answer should be if Vladimir Putin actually comes to the table desiring a peace this Friday.
Okay, and real quickly, lastly, only about a minute or so left. Your thoughts on Benjamin Netanyahu moving into Gaza City?
Boy, I'll tell you, this is a really tough one, too. It's kind of a catch-22 because Netanyahu and Israel are really down to no good options, in my opinion. If they continue to move towards a peace the way it is, they're going to perpetually experience the cycle of violence they have experienced with unrepentant terrorism for the last 40 years. If they go into Gaza, which it looks like they want to do, they're going to have a massive insurgency on their hands. And I think history has proven it is very, very, very difficult to quell an insurgency, if not genuinely impossible, particularly over a protracted period of time. I don't think Netanyahu has any good options here. I think that he's making the
right. Thank you, Congressman Pat Harrigan. We've got to leave it right there. Thank you for joining us on Washington Watch.